Hey golfers, in this next video I'm going to show you how to create width in backswing. If you're struggling with power and consistency and you think it's because you're not getting enough width in your backswing, this is the video you want to watch. Sound good? Keep watching. Hi, it's Troy from Hitting It Solid here. Thanks for watching. So let's talk about this, how to create width in backswing, and why getting width in your backswing is really key to getting more power and consistency in your game. So when we're talking about width in the backswing, what are we actually talking about? So I've got a club here and just setting up to a ball here. Width is how we would determine, if we're making a backswing here, it would be how far away my shoulder here is to either my hand here or the grip of my club. And that's determined how much width I can get. Now, some people have slightly different interpretations, but they're all pretty much the same. It's generally be that distance from the grip of your club, either to your shoulder or your chest. It's much the same. And getting as much width as you possibly can is key to really getting that power, because the more width you can get, i.e. getting the club further away from your body during the swing, the bigger arc you can produce in your swing and the potential to hit the golf ball a lot further. And what I mean by that is the golf swing is on an arc, so it moves in a circular arc around your body, so it moves in this fashion. Now the bigger arc you can do, you can potentially get a lot more speed, whereas if you were to have a very narrow arc, very bent arms like this, and if I was just to turn like that, it's a very much a smaller arc, a narrow arc, and you won't be able to hit the ball quite as far. Now I want to stress, due to perhaps a physical limitation or an injury or something else, you may not be able to get your left arm, for example, fully straight as far away from you as possible, and that's okay. If you can only do maybe a little slight bend, that's perfectly fine, as long as you maintain that slight bend throughout the swinging. You're not going slightly bent there to really bent and then extended on the way down. As long as you can keep that ratio of how much you've got it bent consistent all the way through, that will work just fine. So what do golfers mostly do wrong when we're talking about getting width? Well, as I touched on, most golfers, they don't rotate enough. And when you don't rotate enough, if I keep my hips and my shoulders fairly stationary, I won't rotate them too much, and I was just to swing like that, the only way I can get the club to make a backswing is to bend my arms. It's the only way you can get it. It's impossible from here to have straight arms and get the club to the top. You can hear me straining there, it's quite difficult. So the only way you can do it is by bending your arms. So the first thing to help you get this width is you need to rotate your hips and your shoulders. This is the first step. So if you can rotate your hips, rotate your shoulders, you'll have much easier time in getting width, creating that width in your backswing. So that's a really key part of it. Now the next part, and this is something I see getting done incorrectly as well, golfers in their endeavours to get this width, they won't get any sort of hinge or any sort of wrist set. And what I mean by that is any sort of wrist set like this. Now I'm not talking about getting too much, just the right amount. So golfers that don't get any wrist set, they'll know they need to get width, and they'll particularly go nice and straight like that. But the problem is, once you get to here, you know you've got to get this club to the top of your backswing, and they'll normally bend them to get them to the top of the swing. Again, you lose that width and you lose that power. So what I'd like to see you try to develop into your game is just get that little bit of wrist set, so that when you get your lead arm about parallel to the ground, try to get it to hinge upwards like this and create that letter L, or very close to it. If you can create that letter L, you can see there I've got the maximum amount of width for me. It'll be slightly different for everyone. I've rotated my hips, rotated my shoulders. I've got that nice amount of width there. So really important you rotate your hips, your shoulders, get that little bit of wrist set, and that will really help you get the most out of your golf swing. So what are some ways that you can really create this width in your swing? So in a moment I'm going to show you a really simple drill you can practice, but I'm going to give you one really important key here that can help you get this width. And it starts with getting that wrist set that I spoke about, and a really simple way you can do this. And if you see here, I'll just turn side on here. If you push, actually I can do this from face on. If I get the club here, if I push on the handle, look what happens. You can see what happens when I push on the handle. The club head hinges up, and I'm getting that nice sort of hinge that I'm after. So quite simply what you can practice doing, and just do this really slowly in your backyard to begin with, as you make your swing, as you get to about here, just slightly push on the club and get it to hinge up. Really simple little exercise. You get that right amount of hinge, we get that L position, and we're on our way. Now the second thing you can do to help you create width in the backswing, feel like your elbows, particularly once you get past this takeaway position here, feel like you're squeezing your elbows or your forearms, however best sort of feels right to you. Feel like they're getting closer together. Squeeze them in together. I'll show you from this angle here. If I don't squeeze my elbows in, quite often they'll bend and I'll get in this really wide flying elbow position. But if you can swing, feel like those elbows are pinching closer together, you'll find you can get in a pretty good position there and get the most amount of width in your swing. So there's two really important keys. Pushing against the handle to get that little bit of wrist set, and also squeezing those arms in together to help get the maximum width for your swing. So in just a moment I'm going to show you a really simple drill. I love this drill. This works fantastically well to help you create width in the backswing. I'll see you soon. Okay, here's this really simple drill on how you can create width in backswing. So all we're going to do is grab a club, jump out of your chair, make sure you do this along with me. Now we're going to hold the club in just your left hand, which will, for a right hander, this will be your lead hand. Now as you grip it, I want you to grab your right hand, place it on your left wrist, and all you're going to do is practice rehearsing, making this backswing, or at least the halfway back position. And as you turn, make sure you rotate your hips and rotate your shoulders. As you turn, I want this right hand to be pushing gently against that wrist to try and keep it the maximum distance away from you as possible, because this will help create that width. So as we go back, I'm pushing against it just gently, and you can see there when I do that, this is a great way of maintaining that width in that backswing. I'm just gently pushing against it. I'm not allowing the left arm to fold and get closer to me. I'm just keeping it away from me, and then I can rotate more, and I'm getting all that width that I'm after. So really simple, right wrist, grab the left, and just keeping it as far away from me as possible. Got all the width I need. This is a great drill to practice at home to get the right feeling of creating width. By all means you can practice hitting short shots doing this, but it's a great feel drill that will really help you get that width in the golf swing that you're after. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments about that, please let me know. I will get back to you. See you next time. Do you want to know how to make an even better backswing? Click and watch the video on your screen now. It's going to go into a bit more detail about how to get the right spine tilt in your backswing. This is a super important area that will really help you out and make a great backswing. Do you want to know how to play even better golf? Consider subscribing to the channel. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know or we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.